I had a car payment, I had a house note, rent, and I had regular utility bills, and I couldn't meet those needs anymore. And it led me to get an eviction, in which once you get an eviction, it's hard to come back from unless you can pay the eviction off.
I had got married. I met a man and we got married. He ended up not being the same man I met. He ended up being abusive. So I was going through a lot of domestic violence, and I just decided one night that this is not something I want my daughter to see.
It was me and my daughter, and I had been years out of work. My self-esteem was terrible. I was probably at my lowest point ever.
Then, like a light went off, like, this is not how you're supposed to live. No man's supposed to beat you, kick you, throw you downstairs, chase you.
So I've been staying kind of from pillar to post, from family member to family member, and until I got here.
When I went to social services and told them I needed to go to a shelter, I was petrified, thinking the worst. I didn't know where I would be, what kind of environment we would be in. I had, Lydia, and I was still scared. But when I got there, all that went away.
And she brought us right in with loving arms, not even 24 hours later. Not even 24 hours later, and it was a blessing.
They welcomed me like it was family. It was so comfortable when I walked in the first day.
I remember my daughter looking up at me when we stayed in the church that night, and she said, "Mom, this is the happiest I've ever been in a long time." You can't help but to become a family because that's the type of organization it is.
I praise them to people that know my story. I praise them. They gave me my life back, and
I have met other people from shelters, and the experience and the love that they get from their shelters compares nowhere near to what we receive.
they really were instrumental in where I ended up and how I ended up and the confidence I had at work. And when I did get a job, I excelled, and I honestly don't think I could have had the strength to do any of that.
It's a place you can come and build yourself back up, support-wise and spiritual-wise, advice and everything. I think it's a place where you can build yourself back up if you're willing to do that.
I'm still currently living in an apartment that they helped me get when I graduated from the shelter. And I don't know why I say graduated, but they just have so much implemented for you. So like when I was finished, I felt like I accomplished something, like I graduated.
They were my backbone and still are. I can still call them and get help or advice or referrals or whatever I need. I mean, they don't leave you.
You know, sticking around doesn't make you strong, especially when you have little girls or little children that you're raising. You know, it's very important that you do what you, if you can't do it for yourself, then you do it for them.
Well, I'm working for DECI, which is contracted out by the VA Veterans Hospital. I want to be more concentrated on and more focused on maintaining a stable home for my son. He's 13. I don't want him to move anymore.
Being in my own home and not having to depend on a man or somebody else, or just feeling like I was in control, was the best feeling in the world.
My goal is just to become really financially stable and have my children actually really learn from me too, so I'm not having them to be in a situation like this when they get older.
And I mean, everything that they did for me, I was able to implement into my life now. And life is just, it's sweet.